So while that oil is draining out of the engine, I figured I'd start working on this carburetor to get this back together. And first things first, scraping off the old gasket material. This is definitely probably an RTV, some sort of gasket maker that they used on the bottom of the carburetor bowls, which is probably fine, except I'm trying to dig it out from this groove where my actual gasket is supposed to sit. So look at that. The gasket is made to fit in that groove. And if you're not willing to buy a gasket, you use gasket maker, which I'm guessing worked. I was able to scrape it off. Normally, scrape a gasket off with carefully with a metal blade. However, let's see, where was I using that? You do not want to scrape the metal. This aluminum is so delicate. I think I used it somewhere. Didn't use it there. But yeah, you start scraping it with that, and you're going to make little notches in your aluminum. So, the gasket maker, I was able to scrape off with my fingernail. Maybe have your girlfriend do this for you. I do not have a girlfriend. But look at that. It's coming right off with my fingernail. Now, if this was just a gasket, you probably wouldn't have it on the carburetor body, because if the gasket's in good shape, it should come off cleanly with your float bowl. Now, I gotta figure out how to get in this groove and clean all that out. They do make a gasket remover, but I don't know how much better it's gonna be for me, because I had to get in around here. I'm gonna work on scraping that out, but my fingernail did a good job on this one, so I will do this one. And keep in mind, you don't want all this little junk to get stuck in your float bowl and stuff. These little pieces will gum up your system, so make sure, look at that. Is that a piece? That might be a piece. Make sure none of this is left when you're done. Make sure you get all that junk out of there, because that will get stuck in your little carburetor parts and passages. So I'm going to work on taking this stuff out. I have the glee of doing all of this too. See, that's what it started out looking like. Oh boy. Fixing other people's problems. Why do I enjoy this? Alright guys, I'm going to keep working on this. Here we are with the carbs. I left the main jet holder and the main jet soaking while I was waiting for parts to come. And I already did clean up the other ones that I took out already. And took a guitar string, which I'm sure you couldn't see on camera. Let's see if you can see it. There she is. I think this is my smallest one. So I took my guitar string and went through the holes. And I will do that to these two also. But really, I mean, nothing was clogged. I'm going to take compressed air and shoot it through just to make sure. But that's where I'm at on this project right now. I'm going to have to reassemble. I did use these brushes a little bit to go through where I could, like the main hole here. But the rest of these are pretty small, so only the guitar string makes it through. Although, I'll tell you what, this pilot jet, I can get the guitar string through these holes, but I cannot get the guitar string up through the center. That is the tiniest hole, and that's, if you get something clogged in there, I'm not surprised. So I will take compressed air, and I'll just plug the edges here, and I will shoot it through and make sure that that's clear. That's the only way. Since my guitar string doesn't get through there, I don't know how else to clean it out. But an update on the gasket material that was on the carburetor bowls. I cleaned it all up, and basically what I did was, let's see if I can show you over here. Ugh, my phone's plugged in. This is the junk that came out. I was able to strip a lot of it out. This was in that groove. So yeah, that is gasket maker. And all that junk could get into your carb. So make sure that that doesn't stay in your float bowls when you're cleaning them up. But I carefully wedged this blade in the groove underneath that stuff. And then I took this little screwdriver, which has picked up a screw, and I actually wedged it under there and just kind of worked around underneath it. Got as much as I could out. And then the best thing I found to scrape this off was actually my fingernail, because I did not want to gouge the metal, and the gasket maker was actually coming up pretty easily just running my fingernail in there. So they're all pretty clean. I took compressed air, blew them all out, made sure that the hole down below here was open on both of them, and I already put the gasket on this one. So we're gonna reassemble these correctly, make sure there's no dirt left in there when I put it back together. But these guys are looking pretty good. Hopefully I didn't adjust any of the floats. Hopefully they're good to go. So that's where the carb project is right now for the EX500. I got to figure out where everything goes. And I should probably put on new gaskets here. Also on this end. Or no, wait. Yeah, there's a gasket there too. So I should probably put on new gaskets so that it doesn't leak when I put it all back together. This side does not have gaskets on it, does it? Alright. So that's where we're at with the Ninja carburetors. I do have the new parts in, so I can start putting this all back together. Figured out the kit that I got has different needles and different main jets, and they're a little bigger. So I think when I put it back together, it will actually bring more fuel in. So I may want to upgrade, put a new air filter in it, just to make sure I'm getting enough air to level out the fuel. I'm going to go with what I have, and hopefully it runs good.